Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjanam Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjanam Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Mahi. Jaya Gauranita 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 Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Netai Gaur Haribol, 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 Netai Gaur Haribol. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्र सिद्ध श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBT फाउंडर आचार्य सेवर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्र सिद्ध श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we're reading from Canto 4, Chapter 29, Text 8. Akshini Nasike Karnau Mukam Shishna Gudaviti Dve Dve Dvaro Bahiryati Yastad Indriya Samyutaha Akshini Nasike Karnau Mukam Shishna Gudaviti Dve Dve Dvaro Bahiryati Yastad Indriya Samyutaha Akshini Nasike Karnau Mukam Shishna Gudaviti Dve Dve Dvaro Bahiryati Yastad Indriya Samyutaha Akshini Nasike Karnau Gudaviti Yastad Indriya Samyutaha Akshini Nasike Karnau. मुखं शेषनागोदाविते अक्षिणे two eyes, नासिके two nostrils, कर्णौ two ears, mukam mouth, shishna genitals, gudau and rectum, iti thus, dve two, dve two, dwarau gates, bahihi outside, yati goes, yaha one who, tat through the gates, indriyam by the senses, samyutaham accompanied. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki translation. The eyes, nostrils and ears are pairs of gates situated in one place. The mouth, genital and rectum are also different gates. Being placed into a body having these nine gates, the living entity acts externally in the material world and enjoys sense objects like form and taste. Purport. Not being aware of his spiritual position, the living entity, directed by the mind, goes out through the nine gates to enjoy material objects. Because of long association with material objects, he forgets his real spiritual activities and is thus misled. The entire world is going on being misled by so called leaders like scientists and philosophers who have no knowledge of the spirit soul. Thus, conditioned soul becomes more and more entangled. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमामो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So first of all, I seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees, especially His Grace Anandamayi Prabhu, to speak something to glorify the Lord and to serve all the devotees assembled. So this section, Puranjan section, is going on for last so many months, and in this chapter, Puranjan is asking question to Narada Muni that what exactly you have spoken that story, but what exactly it means. Please give explanation. So the Narada Muni spoke this allegorical story for almost 4 chapters, containing more than 60 verses. And it goes into details of who is Puranjan, what he was doing, how he met that Puranjani, how many servants she has, and how they got married to each other, and how they came back to the city, and the description of the city, and the five-hood snake which was protecting the city. So much into details of the story, on how once he went for hunting, after coming back from hunting, what happened, how she responded, and eventually how this Chandavega attacked, and what is the result of the attack. So many full details of the story it goes. And after almost four chapters of the story, this Prachin Hishat, in this beginning of this 29th chapter, the first verse he asked this question that Bhagavamste vacho asmabir na samyak avagamyate kavayastad vijanati na vayam kama mohitaha. O Nardamuni, your your vacha, asmabir vacho, your words, na samyak avagamyate, I am not able to understand. Kavayas tad vijanati. Maybe intelligent people may be able to understand your story, but I am not able to understand because of karma mohitaha, because of too much engaged in futile activities. I am not able to understand. So kindly please give purport to the story. And then the Narada Muni, from second verse onwards, he starts explaining the different characters in that Puranjana story. So he tells who is Puranjana. Puranjana is the Jiva, living entity who has come to this material world. And then he has one friend Avignata, who was unknown to that friend. He is nothing. He is none other than Supreme Lord, who is always accompanying the Jiva. And then that Pramata, that woman whom he meets, that represents in material intelligence. And she has got 10 servants, 11 servants, out of which 10 represent 10 senses, and 11th one is mind. So 10 senses means 5 karmendriyas and 5 jnanendriyas, and 11th one is the mind. And the serpent which is protecting the city, that is compared to that is 5-hooded serpent, and that serpent represents 5 life airs which is flowing in this body of no city of this body. That 5 airs are prana, apana, udana, vyana, and samana. So these 5 airs keep balance of this body, and that is represented by 5-hooded serpent. And the city has 9 gates in all 4 different directions: east, west, north, and south. 5 are in east direction, one is in north, one is in south, and 2 are in west. Basically represents the gnanendriyas and karmendriyas basically, and different directions are there. And mind is the 11th sense object, 11th sense, isn't it? So the living entity, basically this Purusha which is mentioned here, this Puranjan, is the living entity who has come to this material world. And after coming to this material world, he starts identifying with the body, and he starts identifying with the circumstances, with the conditions in which he lives in. And that's so he gets trapped in this material world. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is wonderful conversation happens between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami, after resigning from his post as Prime Minister, so he comes and surrenders to Lord Chaitanya in Varanasi. And then he asks, so please tell me, who am I? Why am I suffering these threefold miseries? And I want to come out of these threefold miseries. I don't know how to come out. Although people call me as a great scholar, but I don't think so I am a great scholar, because I don't know who I am. And I don't know why I am suffering in these threefold miseries. So kindly tell me what happened to me. How can I come out of these 3 miseries? So in that context, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives a very philosophical discussion that happens between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami, which answers many of the life's questions. That who am I, what I'm supposed to do, how I came to this world, and why am I suffering these threefold miseries? How can I come out of this material world and attain the goal of life in detail? No, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives a description, quoting different shlokas, different evidences from different scriptures. And very, very important section to be read. It starts from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 20th chapter onwards. And for next 5-6 chapters, the Sanatan Siksha is very much important, especially Rup Siksha and Sanatan Siksha is very much important for sadhakas to study, understand, and follow them. It's very, very important discussion that happens there. So in that context, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes this shloka. Krishna Bulya se jiva anadi bahirmukam atayeva maya tare samsara dukkam. So this jiva who has come to this material world, when he has come to this material world, anadi, for anadi kal, Time immemorial has come to this material world. And why he came? Because of becoming Bahirmukha. Yeah, there are two words in Sanskrit. One is Unmukha, second is Bahirmukha. So Unmukha means facing towards, turning towards. And Bahirmukha means facing against, turning against. So why we come to this material world? Krishna Buliya, by forgetting Krishna, we become Bahirmukha. We have become, we turned our faces against Krishna. Isn't it? We have one more sloka which comes tells, Sevon Mukoihi Jihvado. So when we become inclined towards service to Krishna, then we can understand Krishna. But here the jivas become Bahirmukha towards Krishna. And that's how he ends up coming to this material world. And after coming, what happens here? As soon as he comes to this material world, Atayeva Maya Tare Samsare Dukkha. So immediately Maya captures him and gives him punishment. So one in Prema Vaivartam, Jagadan Pandit quotes this shloka. Same, something similar. Krishna Bahirmukha Haya Bhoga Vancha Kare Nikatastha Maya Tare Japati Yadare. So Krishna Bahirmukha Haya. So somebody become Krishna Bahirmukha. Why he becomes Krishna Bahirmukha? Because he wants to do Bhoga Vancha Kare. He wants to enjoy his senses. He wants sense gratification. Because of that, he becomes Krishna Bahirmukha. So as soon as one becomes Krishna Bahirmukha, because of Bhoga Vancha, what's the result of that? Nikatastha Maya Tare. The Maya which is there nearby immediately captures him. And after capturing, what happens? Samsara Dukkha. It gives him the threefold miseries, fourfold sufferings, then it sixfold whips. So many sufferings are imposed on the living entity. Yes. And especially Maya gives the two important sufferings, Avarnatmika and Prakshepatmika. The Avarnatmika means Maya covers the identity of the living entity. So living entity forgets what is my exactly identity. What is my actual identity? It forgets. Now we are called ID card, identity card. Then we carry that Aadhaar card. But our actual Aadhaar card identity, we forget it. What is our actual identity? That Mahaprabhu tells, Krishnera Nityadas. That we forget. And forgetting that, we carry so many other ID cards. I am so and so. I belong to so and so community. I belong to so and so country. This is my body. This is my age. This is my PAN card number, my credit card number. So many other ID cards are imposed by Maya. That is called Avarnatmika Shakti. And what is the result of that identification? What is the result of identification? Sufferings. So Vyasdev tells in first canto 7th chapter, the Vyas Narada Muni's conversation, he tells, Yaya sammohito jivo atmanam trigunatmakam paropi manute anartam tat kritam chapi padyate. So thus by being bewildered, Yaya sammohito. Mohita means bewildered. Sammohita means super bewildered, very much bewildered. By what? Thinking by Maya, what he thinks? Atmanam Trigunatmakam. He thinks that I am made of this body. I am made of this Kapavata Pitta. I am made of these three modes. Atmanam Trigunatmakam. He identifies with this body. Although he is Para Api, although he is transcendental to this body, he thinks he is this body. Paropi Manute Anartham. And what is the result of that? Tat Kritam Champi Padyate. He undergoes the reactions, sufferings by that identification. So the root cause of all suffering is identification with the body. And here body means not just gross body, it also means subtle body. So the more we identify with the gross body and subtle body, the more we suffer. So why people commit suicide? What reason for people committing suicide? Because they identify with the which body? Subtle body. Because mind is screaming, commit suicide, die, end your body, end your body. Can't live. I can't exist without this girl. I can't solve this problem. The mind is creating, screaming. I can't exist. Who can't exist? Mind can't exist. The mind is shouting, commit suicide, end yourself. And we think that is my voice. And I should commit suicide. Isn't it? So when Prabhupada tell you, we are not the body, we are not the body. Why so many times Prabhupada is to tell? Because it means not only we are not the gross body, it also means We are not the subtle body. I am not my mind. Mind is different from me. Mind is speaking. I am not speaking. That identification very difficult to understand. Because many times when we think I am not the body, we think, okay, I am not this gross body anyway. But it also means I am not the mind. Because many times mind is a big distraction for sadhakas. And mind tells, I am tired in japa, I want to go and sleep. Who is tired? Mind is tired. And mind makes body also feel tired. When you sit for Bhagavatam class, I'm not able to understand, I'm going to sleep. Who is not able to understand? Mind. Arey, nothing, no jokes in the class, no stories in the class, no facts and figures. Switch off. Immediately go to sleep. Is that it? But no. That is telling, mind is telling. Mind is exhausted. So we make spiritual advancement to the extent we start ourselves identifying different from the mind. So this demands, this request is not from me, from the soul. It is from the mind. And I am not mind, isn't it? So that is very important to understand. The more we identify with the mind, the more we follow the mind's demands. And the more we experience suffering. Yes. The mind is like our co-driver. It's like our co-driver. When you are going in Ola or Uber or in a bike, no, you are the steering wheel is in your hands. And the passenger who is sitting behind you is the mind. The friend who is sitting in next seat is the mind. So you may want to come to temple. But mind may tell you, no, no, I want to go to movie. But the steering wheel is in your hands. The mind cannot take it away from your hands. Mind can only shout, it can only propose, but it cannot take away the steering wheel from your hands. Although mind may tell, still you have that free will. No, I don't want to go to movie, I want to go to temple. Getting? So that is mind's desire, not my desire. Yes? But people don't understand this. People don't understand this. And because of what happens, people start thinking mind's desires are my desires. And because of that, what happens? They follow the mind's demands. They succumb to mind's proposals and they suffer a lot. That's what paropi manute anartham means. We are transcendental not only to the gross body, we are transcendental to the subtle body also. What to speak of false ego? When false ego demands respect, it is false ego which is demanding respect, not the soul. Soul wants to follow the Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sudahari. That's what soul wants to follow. But Ahankar is shouting, no, I want respect. I don't want to respect anybody. I want respect. Everybody should respect me. How can you not respect me? The Ahankar is screaming. But it is not me which is screaming. It is Ahankar. Let it scream. I don't want to pay heed to it. Yes. So that's why it is very important to learn to identify ourselves different from the mind, material intelligence, and false ego. So then our spiritual progress starts. That's why Srila Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction, introductory preface, that unless one controls mind and senses, one cannot make any tangible spiritual advancement. Yes. So senses include gross body and mind includes subtle body. Mind doesn't false ego. So very important. So that's why how to identify ourselves different from the mind, how to understand I am not I am not subtle body, I am something beyond spiritual subtle body. That's why Krishna gives scriptures. And that's why Krishna sends spiritual masters and sadhus to give us the actual identity. Who am I and who am I not? That Krishna tells. That's why Vyasdev tells in that shloka, Anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yoga madokshaje lokasya janato vidvam chakre satvata samhitam. Because anarthopasamam sakshat, how to overcome the anartha, that I am not thinking I am this body. So to help the jivas overcome this misunderstanding that I am not this body, that's why Vyasdev composed out of his mercy, Chakre Satvata Samhitam, he composed this Srimad Bhagavatam. And something similar, Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes similar shloka Sanatana Goswami. He tells that Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swatah Krishna Gnan Jivera Krupaya Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. Maya Mugdha Jivera. The Jiva which is uh, bewildered by Maya. It can't, the Jiva cannot have Swatah Krishna Gnan. It can't have Krishna Gnan itself. Then what Krishna has done? Jivera Krupaya Kailam. Just to show mercy to the Jiva, Krishna has done Veda Puran. He is composed. Krishna personally came as Vedavyas. Who is Vedavyas? He is not normal human being. He is actually literary incarnation of Krishna. He is called as Sahitya Avatar. Sahitya Avatar means literary incarnation. Who composed literatures? Who composed 100 Upanishads, 18 Puranas? He divided one Vedas into 4 Vedas, 2 Itihasas. So that is composed by Vedavyas, who is none other than the Lord's literary incarnation, Sahitya Avatar. So he personally comes and wrote all these scriptures. That's why you don't find any fault in the scriptures. How these scriptures are beyond these 4 defects of a conditioned living entity, because it's not written by any normal human being, written by Lord Himself. That's why it is beyond all 4 defects. Yes. And because when we read those scriptures, when we study those scriptures, and then we come to understanding that actually what is my actual identity. So till that time, it is impossible for Jiva, for living to understand that what is my actual identity. They continue thinking that I am this body, I am this mind, I have to enjoy this body as much as possible. And that is the goal of my life. That's it. Yes. And in that context only, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells one story to Sanatana Goswami in the Sanatana Siksha. He tells that there's one great wise Brahmana was, his name was Sarvagna. But Sarvagna was somehow, he was in distress because his grandparents, his forefathers, they left him a big treasure. But he does not know where is the treasure. They were searching, where can I find the treasure? And that time, one Brahmana comes and tells that Sarvagna that I know where is the treasure. I will tell you. Then asks, please tell me where is the treasure, I want to know. Then that Brahmana tells that this treasure is in your home only. But if you start digging it from the south direction, all these wasps and all the insects will come and bite you. So don't dig from the south direction. And don't dig from west also. Because in the west direction, if you dig, there is a ghost waiting. And the ghost will come out and devour you. And north also you should not dig. Because in north direction, there is one big black snake is there. The snake will bite you and kill you. Then what I should do? If you want to dig in the eastern direction. Then you will get the treasure. And Bhaksan Thakur gives explanation. What is this north, west, south, and what are the 3 creatures represent? He tells the south direction represents fruitive activities. That wasps and insects all represent fruitive activities. Then if you go, that's why you go to South India, there are a lot of karma kanda going on. All people are after the worship of doing a lot of nomulu, vratalu, all these things. Why? For what? For getting material benefits, fruitive activities. They are all represented by these wasps and insects. In West, if you go, there is ghost, the ghost of mental speculation, which devours you. Yes. And North represents by yoga, mystic siddhis. So all this karma, gnana, yoga are all unfavorable for pure devotional service. And East, when you try to dig in the East, that East direction represents devotional service. Yes, that's why Rupa Goswami defines what is pure devotional service. So pure devotional should be uncovered by karma, gnana, yoga. So, Anyabhilashita shunyam gnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam bhakti ruttamam. So if our bhakti is tinged with any of these 3, karma, gnana, yoga, that is not pure devotional service. Yes, that is mixed devotional service, isn't it? So, out of these 11 senses, mind plays a very, very major role, because mind is the one which keeps us in this material world for a long time. And mind is actually playing the role of servant of false ego. So actually, mind is not the main thing. Behind mind, the master who is controlling the mind is false ego. But still, mind, no, many times we address the mind problem only, isn't it? The mind, lot of problem it comes, isn't it? So whatever happiness we try to imagine in this material world, actually there is no much happiness. The happiness is imagined. So many times people ask this question: is there happiness in material world or not? Is there happiness in sense gratification or not? Is there or not? The Prahlad Maharaj tells there is happiness. There is material happiness. There is material pleasure. But the material pleasure is very, very, very insignificant. It is there. That's why Rupa Goswami tells in Nectar of Devotion that if you multiply material happiness by 1,000 times, that is called Swarga happiness, happiness in Swarga Lokam. Yes? And if you multiply that material happiness, Swarga happiness with 1,000 times, you get Brahmananda. And Brahmananda you multiply with 1,000 times, you get Bhakti Ananda. If Bhautik Sukh, material happiness is zero, then multiply 100,000 times, what happens? It is zero only, isn't it? So there is some material happiness, but the material happiness is very, very insignificant. But what mind does is, the mind imagines pleasure. Pleasure is there. What mind does it? Mind exaggerates the quantity of the pleasure. It exaggerates the quantity of the pleasure. And that is the problem with the mind. It imagines and exaggerates the quantity of the pressure is very, very, very limited. Mind exaggerates. So much pleasure is there. So much pleasure is there. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. That's what mind does exactly. That's why when you read those scriptures, it exactly tells, the scriptures tell that what is the exact quantity of the pleasure. It's not so much as we imagine, as our mind imagines. It is very, very, very insignificant, isn't it? That's what Prabhupada tells. Yasma samyoga viyoga. So in material world, everybody wants to be get more and more happiness and decrease distress, isn't it? We want to be in contact with the things which we like, and to become to go away from the things which we don't like, isn't it? That's what Yasmat samyoga viyoga priya apriya. So we want to be contact with the things which we like very much, and not be contact with the things which we don't like. But what happens in in our life is exactly opposite, isn't it? We will come in touch with the things which we don't like, and the things which we like, we don't want. We cannot come in touch with. We don't come in touch with it. And this is what the definition of misery is. The misery means what? We get what we don't want, and we don't get what we want. That's what misery means, isn't it? In summer season, we don't want too much hot sun. We want some AC, some cool, but we get exactly opposite. And in winter season, we want lot of heat, but we don't get heat. We get lot of cold. So this is what exactly misery is. Yes. And this is one thing, but mind denies this reality. Mind tells, no, no, it's okay, but there is lot of enjoyment in this world, lot of happiness in this world. It exaggerates the pleasure, the quality of the pleasure. Yes. So that's why when we want to solve the material problems by material solutions, when you are trying to search for material happiness at material level, you get three possibilities. You get three possibilities. So, for example, somebody, tomorrow Tuesday we have feast in our temple. We get some extra sweet and some prasad, some extra items. So just imagine, no, it advertised that tomorrow Tuesday there will be sweet made, and the sweet will be malpoha. It doesn't start one day before only. And we are anticipating from morning Mangalarti onwards, 9 o'clock we'll get malpoha after Bhagavatam class. And we are waiting eagerly. Guru Puja over, Bhagavatam class extended 9:30. We are praying when Bhagavatam will end. And then 9:30 we go with the plate running to kitchen, Prasadam hall. And you find there is no malpoha. There is no sweet only. That is one possibility. You don't get the sweet which you anticipated. That is one possibility. And second option is you go there and you find malpoha. You sit with your plate with taking two malpohas and waiting when after Mahaprasada Govinde First thing you taste is malpoha only. And what happened when you put malpoha in the mouth? What happened? The cook messed up with the item and he forgot to put the sugar. It is like tasting like idli. No salt, no sugar. Can you imagine? What will happen? And you are trying to bite other direction. Maybe this direction there is no sugar. In other side there is maybe sugar. There also no sugar. Another possibility, isn't it? And last possibility can be, okay, you got malpoha, there is sugar in that. You wanted more. You only had one, you wanted two more. You go and ask Proji, can I get two more malpohas? The in charge tells Prabhu, no, it is limited. You get only one per head. That's it. So this is the problem with the material happiness. The first possibility is that is called as futile. You don't get only material happiness. You thought there is a happiness. You went and tried there, but there is no happiness there. Second is you got the item, but there is no happiness present in that. That is called as insubstantiality. And third is you got the item, there is you tasted it, you got some pleasure, you wanted more, but it is limited. Temporary happiness. So this is called fit. F for futile, I for insubstantiality, and T for temporary. So this is the characteristics of any material happiness. That's it. Somebody wants to purchase a latest trendy car, isn't it? He has desire, I want to purchase the latest trendy car. Problem is, first of all, he doesn't have money only to purchase latest car, which costs 1 crore, 2 crore rupees. Futile. Second is, he purchased a car, but what happened after he purchased the car? Government changed and the petrol charges increased like anything. So although he has car, he cannot travel much because petrol costs increased much. Okay, you got car, petrol charges are under control, but how much you can travel? Can you keep on traveling whole day? Can you eat in the car, sleep in the car? No. You can travel for few hours. That's it. So these three are the characteristics of any material happiness. You get from any sense object. Yes. So, and unfortunately, what mind does? It exactly presents the opposite of these three things. It tells you try for any sense object, you get permanent happiness, you get unlimited happiness. Keep trying, keep trying. And our whole life goes in trying to search for unlimited permanent happiness. That is the problem. But when you study scriptures, when you hear from sadhus, spiritual masters, they help us understand the real nature of the material happiness. The search for happiness, the search for unlimited permanent happiness is not wrong. That is our birthright. That is our soul's right. Because soul is Anandamayo Abhyasat. The soul is Satchida Ananda. It is searching for unlimited happiness. That is right. The problem is what? It is searching at a wrong place. Searching in a wrong place. That kind of happiness. But when we hear from Shastras and the sadhus, they tell us where is the right place to search for. And the right place is Krishna. The right place is Krishna. Because when you find happiness in Krishna, in Krishna, service to Krishna, in holy names of Krishna, in pastimes of Krishna, in katha of Krishna, then these three possibilities will not apply. It will not be futile, it will not be insubstantial, it will not be temporality. It will be exactly opposite. Because the connection with Krishna and happiness related to Krishna is eternal, it's permanent, it is unlimited, it is always available. So the search for happiness is not a problem, but we have to change the place from sense objects to Krishna consciousness. And that's what we learn when we read these scriptures. Isn't it? So it's very important to understand this and engage our time, energy, consciousness in in putting our endeavors for finding happiness in with respect to Krishna, respect to Krishna consciousness. Then we can experience unlimited happiness which we are looking for, which we are earning for so many lifetimes. And thus we can become completely satisfied. Yes, and that's what this whole episode of Puranjan leads to eventually. The conclusion is that. So Narada Muni tells one more story at the end of this chapter, and Puranjan immediately renounces this world and tells, I want that happiness. So I will go to forest and engage myself completely in devotional service. That's what happens. Yes. So to summarize, we saw how this Puranjan Prachina was asking the purport of the story of Narada Muni. That Narada Muni tells the story for almost 4 chapters, a lot of verses. And finally, Prachina was not able to understand anything about out of this. Now, please give purport. And in this chapter, Narada Muni starts giving that purport. Who, what are the exact characters represent in that story? Yes, who is Puranjan? Who is that girlfriend? And who is that serpent? And the 11 servants. So immediately he keeps one by one, he gives the explanation. And then we discussed about how this jiva comes to this material world. Bhogavan Chakari, because to enjoy separately from Krishna, so he comes to material world, and as soon as he comes to the material world, what happens? Nikatastha Mayadari. So as soon as he comes, Maya captures him. And samsara dukkha, it gives him lot of unhappiness, sufferings, this material world, isn't it? And although the jiva is transcendental to this body, gross and subtle, because identifies with this body, he undergoes lot of suffering. Ya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam. And that's why how to come out of the suffering? So Krishna and sadhus, they mercifully tell us our actual identity. So, anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yoga madokshaje. Is that Lokasya Janato Vidvam Chakre Salta Samhitam. So Vyasdev wrote Bhagavatam to tell us the actual identity. Similarly, because Maya Mugdera Jiva. So because of bewildered by Maya, Jiva Naha Swata Krishna Gnan. Because they don't have their Krishna Gnan, so Krishna Kaila Veda Puran. So Krishna has given us Veda Puran to give us the actual identity. Yes, when we read those scriptures, we understand I am not this gross body, I am subtle body, I am not subtle body, I am beyond this gross subtle body. It's pure spirit soul, servant of Krishna. So that we come to know only when we hear scriptures and hear from sadhus. It's very important. Otherwise, we forget. Yes. And eventually, we also saw that how this mind, although the pleasure in the material was very, very limited, but because of the mind, we imagine and exaggerate the quantity of the pleasure. And we cannot solve material problems at material level. And when you try to get material happiness, there are three possibilities: futile, insubstantiality, and temporality. But the search for pleasure is not wrong. It is not something insane. It's not illegal. It's our birthright. Because Atma is looking for Ananda. It's our nature to be happy. But the problem is we are looking for happiness in wrong place. Wrong place. So we have to just try to look at the search at the right place. And the right place, where is that we come to know through scriptures. And the right place is Krishna and things related to Krishna. It can be Krishna's holy name, Krishna's beautiful deities, Krishna Katha, Krishna Seva, Vaishnava Seva. All these things can can assuredly give us eternal, permanent, unlimited happiness which we are looking for. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी.